YouTube, what is good, bro? Again, what's good, and we are back with another video. Over the years, we've seen some classic JRPGs get some much needed TLC with a fresh coat of paint and new life breathed into them, giving even more reason to recommend some of these incredible JRPGs to newer fans of the genre. So in this video, I wanted to share with you guys 5 of the best JRPG remasters I feel you need to play. Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. Releasing back in 2003, SMT3 Nocturne was the first ever Shin Megami Tensei game I had played, and despite its extremely challenging gameplay, easily made me a fan of the series going forward. So Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne is a turn-based RPG developed and published by Atlus. The story follows a high school student in post-apocalyptic Tokyo, who's transformed into the demonic demon known as Demi-Fiend. The Demi-Fiend becomes instrumental to the schemes of the Reasons, beings who seek to remake the world in their image, and Lucifer, the Lord of Demons. So SMT3 Nocturne is widely regarded as one of the best games in the series, and with good reason too, amassing a dedicated fan base to not only the series but to Nocturne in particular. With the game being stuck on an older system in the PS2, Atlus announced that they would be releasing a HD remaster of the beloved classic PS2 JRPG in 2021. So this HD remaster of Nocturne is honestly the perfect way to play this game. With many quality of life improvements and upscaled graphics, Atlus done an amazing job at retaining that old school PS2 charm the game had, while making the game now more accessible to modern platforms and introducing the game to a newer audience. So for me, I think the one thing that always stuck with me was the dark tone and setting of SMT3 Nocturne. This was complemented so well by how challenging the combat was, and it really made you feel on edge in every single battle you encountered. So I personally always refer to the SMT series of games as the Souls games of JRPGs. And with good reason too. The SMT games have always been known as JRPGs that don't hold your hand. Every single encounter feels like it could end up in you dying, meaning you have to take advantage of the many different battle mechanics the game has to offer. So SMT3's battle system is something I absolutely loved, with the press turn system being a feature that easily turned into my favourite turn-based battle system in any JRPG. Just being able to exploit a weakness, then getting more turns stacked on top of each other could easily turn battles in your favour. I felt this was something that really balanced out the difficulty of the game, but in turn, the enemy could use the press turn system against you, making combat more of a challenge, and always kept me on edge, especially in major battles. So for me personally, SMT3 Nocturne popularised the series going forward. While I still feel more people need to experience the series as a whole, and this game in particular, and with the recent announcement of essentially the definitive edition of SMT5 and SMT5 Vengeance, which is set to release in June of 2024 on all platforms, I really hope that the game is people's gateway into this awesome series of games, and hopefully, in turn, implores more people to go back and give the SMT3 Nocturne remaster a shot. Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne will always hold a special place in my heart, and as mentioned was my gateway into this awesome series of games, and with the remastered version of this incredible game being so accessible, it's honestly no excuse not to check out one of the best JRPG remasters I feel everyone needs to play. Valkyria Chronicles. Now if you guys are fans of the channel or know me well, you guys will know just how much I love Valkyria Chronicles, and it's a game I've constantly talked about and recommended on this channel. So Valkyria Chronicles is a military-themed tactical RPG developed and published by Sega. The game takes place in Europa during the beginning of World War II. Because of its abundance of Ragnite ore, the neutral nation of Gallia comes under attack from the East European Imperial Alliance, which is engaged in a war of the Atlantic Federation. Players will take control of a unit of the Gallian militia, with their sole purpose being dedicated to repelling the invasion. So Valkyria Chronicles originally launched for the PS3 back in 2008, and for me personally was honestly a breath of fresh air for the tactical RPG genre. From its beautiful watercoloured aesthetic when in cutscenes to those old school cel shaded character models and a really fun and addictive gameplay loop with its own unique spin on tactical combat, this was honestly a game that turned into one of my all-time favourite JRPGs. So the original release of Valkyria Chronicles always left me to believe years later that more people really needed to get the chance to experience this underrated JRPG, and in 2016 the game was remastered and ported to modern consoles, firstly for the PS4 back in 2016, then later on the Nintendo Switch in 2018, which in my opinion is a console it was perfect for. Now Valkyria Chronicles combat was something that I absolutely loved. Its unique take and blend on essentially 3 combat systems in tactical, real-time and third-person shooter elements were executed superbly. Now, tactical shooters at times can feel super tedious for the most part in my opinion, but Valkyria Chronicles' take on this by blending 3 systems together just worked to its benefit so well. Having each character handled in real time, though they are limited in their movements, each character has an action point, or AP for short, where movement varies from unit to unit. This means that when in combat, you need to think about how much movement each unit has and where the most effective place to position them is, to either have good cover without being picked off, or a good line of sight to deal damage to enemies. So each unit type has its own specific set of strengths and weaknesses just like any other game, but I love how it's done within Valkyria Chronicles. As each level varies in enemy types, the game really makes you think about what units to bring into battle and what the most effective strategy is for victory. Now, Valkyria Chronicles has such a beautifully told story. The story is told in a way that just makes you feel so attached to every single character. As mentioned, its watercolor aesthetic really gives it that storybook type of feel, as if you are being told and replaying the events of World War II, but in a way that makes you feel connected to the characters' hardships they face throughout the story. Now, where the remastered version doesn't change a bunch, it serves as the perfect way to play this beautiful game on modern consoles. It's a game that I cannot help but recommend anytime I get the chance, and is a big reason why I feel it's the perfect JRPG remaster I feel everyone needs to play. Chrono Cross. So having released when I was super young and only released in North America and Japan in 1999 and 2000 respectively, the remastered version of Chrono Cross was actually the first time I was able to experience this classic JRPG back in 2022. So Chrono Cross is a turn-based RPG developed and published by Square Enix, or Squaresoft as they were formerly known. The story follows a teenage boy named Serge and a theme of parallel worlds. Faced with an alternate reality in which he died as a child, Serge seeks to uncover his past, find the mysterious frozen flame, and defeat the mysterious antagonist known as Lynx who stands in his way. Now, admittedly, Chrono Cross is a game that I've yet to finish, but having gotten a fair chunk of the way through this game, I really felt it was a game I had to include on this list. So Chrono Cross is one of those games that for me really benefited from its modern console remaster, especially for us over here in the PAL region who didn't get to experience it. Having heard so many great things about the game, I could honestly see why this game was held in such high regard. So the one thing that I absolutely loved about Chrono Cross was not only the combat, but the element system especially, which was something that I loved throughout and complemented the combat system so well. So elements are essentially split up into 6 colours: red, blue, green, yellow, white and black, which all have elements that are associated with said colour, where each colour element opposes the other. For example, red signifies the element of fire and magma, which is weak to blue, which signifies the element of water and ice. So each character and enemy in the game has a colour which is associated to them, making them strong and weak to elements of opposing colours. Where I myself liken the element system to that of Pokemon, something about the way it was executed in Chrono Cross was something I absolutely loved and felt so fun to play. Chrono Cross's different worlds through the use of parallel dimensions was something that I loved. Having to travel back and forth between worlds, which would allow you to recruit new party members or obtain specific items to advance the story, honestly just felt amazing, and with the use of those stunning pre-rendered backgrounds just added to the beauty and uniqueness of each world you entered. The worlds and overall tone of the game were complemented so well by the game's beautiful soundtrack, which is something I personally listen to frequently whenever I'm relaxing. So as mentioned, Chrono Cross is a game I need to go back to and finish, but for the large amount of the game that I have played, it's a game I just couldn't leave off this list. If you have heard good things about Chrono Cross or just heard the name floating around as one of the best JRPGs of all time, this is 100% a JRPG remaster that is perfect for newer fans who never got to experience the original, and it's a JRPG remaster I feel everyone needs to play. Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters. Having been released back in 2022, the Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters serve as the modern definitive way to play through the original first 6 entries in the Final Fantasy series. The Pixel Remasters are absolutely amazing and feature a plethora of new features like the beautiful updated sprites and a massive modern overhaul in mechanics and quality of life changes that help exploration and progression throughout the games. Now, if I was going to speak about a specific game from the remasters, it would 100% have to be Final Fantasy VI, which was actually the only Final Fantasy game I'd yet to experience in the series and was the main reason behind me even buying the remasters collection. So being as this was my first experience with Final Fantasy VI, a game that I had heard nothing but great things about, I honestly felt the Pixel Remasters done an amazing job at making this feel like the definitive way to play this classic game. So for me personally, the updated sprites I felt just added another layer of love I personally had towards Final Fantasy VI, and through the playing of this remaster, easily has put Final Fantasy VI in particular up there as one of my all-time favourite Final Fantasy games. So the quality of life improvements implemented throughout the Pixel Remasters honestly just gave these classic games that fresh coat of paint and modern feel they have most likely been crying out for, and I feel now serves as the perfect modern gateway for newer fans of the Final Fantasy games to go back and experience the original first 6 games in this legendary series. So as mentioned, the quality of life improvements that were implemented fixed so much in the way of frequency of random encounters or being able to adjust difficulty on the fly through the use of features such as how much experience you gain from battles, for example, which allows players to really tailor their experience throughout each of the games however they see fit. So for me personally, the fact that you were able to buy a specific game from the Pixel Remasters collection was honestly a great idea from Square Enix, where someone like me who has played the first 5 games apart from 6 meant that I could go in and purchase this game at a low cost and experience everything the game had to offer. So for me personally, the Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters, as mentioned, serve as an incredible gateway for new or older fans of the series to play the first 6 games for the first time or experience them again in a way that feels more definitive. This collection is honestly the best set of JRPG remasters and something I feel everyone needs to play. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Now moving on finally to easily one of my favourite JRPGs of all time for one of my favourite series of all time, we have Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. So Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition is a remaster of the first game in the Xenoblade Chronicles series from developers Monolith Soft. The game was originally released on the Nintendo Wii back in 2010 and the remastered version was released back in 2020. So the story takes place on the frozen bodies of 2 warring titans in the Bionis and Mechonis, the Bionis being home to the human-like Homs and Mechonis being home to the mechanical race known as the Mechons. The key to the Homs' war efforts against the Mechons is a legendary sword known as the Monado. Players take control of main protagonist Shulk, who discovers his ability to wield the Monado and sets out on a quest for revenge with his party of friends. So as mentioned, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition is easily one of my favourite games of all time, and as much as I love the original version on the Wii, the way this remaster was executed made me fall in love with this game so much more. Monolith Soft done more than an amazing job at making this honestly feel like more than a remaster. From the game's insanely beautiful upscaling graphics, character models, cutscenes, world and quality of life features to things such as menu layouts and UI design, this to me honestly felt like the perfect modern remaster and is honestly fitting to the name of the game, being the most definitive way to experience the first Xenoblade Chronicles game. So for me personally, Xenoblade Chronicles battle system is honestly one of my favourite systems in all of JRPGs. It features a real-time action-based battle system where characters will auto-attack. On the surface level, without having played this game, it could be deemed as boring in a sense, but when playing, the combat just feels so much fun to play. For me, I think the fact that you're always having to stay on top of things like positioning a character like Shulk for example, to executing an arts move like a back attack when behind an enemy to deal extra damage, to managing cooldowns and executing arts to eventually get chain attacks off of other party members, honestly just makes one of the most fun and engaging combat loops out there which Monolith Soft have crafted to perfection. So the story in not only the first game but the Xenoblade Chronicles series as a whole is something I say everyone 100% needs to experience, and with the first game in the Xenoblade Chronicles series excluding X is honestly the perfect place to start. So for me personally, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition and just like the other 2 games in the series have some of the best character development, world building, music and story in any JRPG, and is a massive reason why I always recommend this incredible series of games. So if you have heard great things about the Xenoblade series of games, Definitive Edition is the perfect way to start your Xenoblade journey, and it's 100% the best JRPG remaster I feel everyone needs to play. So that'll do it for this video guys. I really appreciate you guys for watching. I'd love to know what some of your favourite JRPG remasters are, so please let me know down below in the comments. So please like, sub, share if you're new, hit that notification bell so you get notified of my videos first, and I hope I can be you guys' #1 source for all JRPG news. So from me too, this has been your bruv, the big bruv, and I'm gonna catch you guys on the next video. I'm out. Peace.